right?
Yeah, like with all the other like president.
And it's high school wide?
Good evening. I would like to call to order the May 15th meeting of the Milton School Committee. In order to adhere to open meeting laws, I need to inform you that this meeting is being filmed by Milton Cable. And at this time, I ask you to please stand and join us in our salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any additions or corrections for tonight's meeting agenda? Hearing none, we'll accept the agenda as written. Do we have anyone for citizens speak? No one for citizens speak. I do want to apologize for the late start. We were waiting for quorum. There's a concert at the high school tonight, and parking is really challenging out there, so I'm sorry that we were late starting. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of our April 3rd, 2013 school committee meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Padera, seconded by Mrs. Kelly. Any discussion? All those in favor? That's 3, and opposed? Abstained? Yes. So 1 abstention, Mr. Zulus. And we will move into the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Chairman Sheridan. The school committee had requested, as I said to one parent, the reason we work, the people in the audience, the students, the reason we come to school every day, the students in the audience, and the presentations tonight. The school committee had asked to bring these students forward, so tonight's a very, very exciting night. The school committee will recognize and hear about, and the public will be able to hear about and recognize these individual and groups of students. First, I want to call to the table our Life Smarts team, coached by Milton High School teachers Paul Ehrenberg and Nancy Michael. And why don't we have their principal come too? And perhaps if the students stood, I don't know, what's your pleasure? If the students stood and the coaches sat, and the mic, and then when the students speak, we can pass the mic to them? Sure. Great. I'm going to turn it over to you for introductions and to tell the school committee and the viewing audience about the program, your accomplishments, the students' accomplishments. Very exciting.
Thank you. Good evening, and we appreciate the invitation to be here this evening and share some of our experiences from this year with the Life Smarts program. My assistant coach, math teacher at the high school, Mrs. Nancy Michaels.
Hi.
And we have senior Devin Stanley, senior Nick Jusica. Unfortunately, there are 3 of our members who were not able to attend, Captain and senior Mona Yuan, also junior Jack Caljo and senior Mike Musto, who are unable to attend from the team which won the state tournament. I have just a few comments. There's so much I'd like to share about this program. I'm so proud that I just wanted to read a few notes. Life Smarts, which is sponsored by the National Consumers League, conducts competitions which are academically rigorous at the local, state, and national levels. Their curriculum covers 5 content areas, and they include personal finance, technology, consumer rights and responsibilities, health and safety, and the environment. Life Smart students learn and develop marketplace skills, which will help them make more intelligent choices in their adult roles as workers, consumers, and citizens. More than 30 Milton students participated in the Life Smarts Club this year, and they trained before and after school, competed in monthly online tests, and worked very hard to achieve, and they did do well. 10 of our students qualified through their efforts for the state tournament, which was held on March 11th at the Federal Reserve Bank in Boston. The Milton Wildcats, with Captain Mona Yuan, had Jack Caljo, Nick Jusica, Mike Musso, and Devin Stanley. We also had the Milton Patriots, and they were captained by Miriam El Sayad, with Hassan, Jack McGrath, Brandon Musto and Aiden Quinn. At the state tournament, both teams really worked hard and had extremely difficult matches. Our Milton Wildcats rose to the occasion and came from behind in an overtime match, almost exciting as Monday night's Bruins game, and defeated Palmer High School and repeated as Massachusetts state champions. Their prize, an all-expenses-paid trip to Atlanta, Georgia, and the right to represent Massachusetts in the Life Smarts Nationals. Our Wildcats competed in 8 matches against 38 other teams from across the country, and they finished in 13th place. At the closing ceremony, 3 of our students were cited for their individual excellence. Nick Jusica, who finished 5th in the category of Consumer Rights and Responsibilities. Moni Yuan, our captain, who finished also 5th in her category of Health and Safety. And we're extremely proud of, unfortunately not here, Jack Caljo, who was named the nation's top student in the category of Environment. So we're really proud of Jack. While in Atlanta, we were able to visit many of its attractions and historic sites, and a highlight was dinner with former Milton High School business teacher, Mr. Conway Amar, and his wife, who invited us to their new home in Atlanta. I've enjoyed coaching and advising these students. They're terrific. Their character, personalities, and achievements have made me very proud. And again, I'm pleased to be here with them tonight. We also have on the laptop a digital video, which is about 3 minutes long, if you have time. It's on the desktop and produced by Ms. LaPressi's digital video students.
I think it'd be great for the school committee and the public to see that. So while you're waiting to turn it on, does the school committee have any questions of our student reps or their coaches?
What is your question? And not to put you guys on the spot, but what made you want to do this? Because it sounds like a lot of time commitment.
When it's passed, you can take that mic right out. Yeah. And
I have
identify.
to say that. Good? Okay. Would probably be the chance to win and compete. It's a competition, so
Okay,
always fun.
okay.
And if I might add to that, Ms. Michaels and Mr. Ehrenberg and our student reps, I think that this group may have gotten their seed. Do you want to share how the seed before you started competing in this?
Oh, that's
classes that we went to, like at MIT and
that's right. I also am part of, and Ms. Michaels and Mr. Ehrenberg coach the academic quiz bowl competition team here. And over the past year, we've been going to different colleges and competing in Jeopardy-style events. Like we went to Yale, MIT. It was really cool.
So proud of you.
Yeah.
Right, very impressive.
I watched you compete at that channel. It was really amazing.
I'm going to UMass Amherst.
I'm going to the University of Alabama, Tuscaloosa.
Great. I think Mr. Jett went down to turn the lights down. I think you're right. You have to see it to believe it.
This is on.
Voice?
We need a student to help them. Is there a student who knows this?
I know.
Cormac, do you know how to do this? Sure you do. No voice?
Maybe we can put this on our website.
So did,
Those are some of the other teams at the state tournament. We also had Miss Sally Greenberg, the Executive Director of the National Consumers League. Also, our state treasurer, Mr. Stephen Grossman, was there as well. He spoke to the students and participated in the state tournament.
Mary, Kelly, what's the name of the man who invented IBM? What? Maybe it's okay. Was it Watson, the creator of IBM? Becky, the man who created IBM, was it Watson? Am I getting any feedback here?
Yes, we just saw it. We just watched it.
John?
Here's Mr. Phelan.
Maybe Mr.
There was an AP exam in here in the afternoon, so it did play, but we couldn't try the audio because we didn't want to interrupt the students.
Want to give it a... Paul? Can I see? What's the name of the man who created IBM? Was it Watson?
Thomas Watson.
Do you know about the Watson, the computer that they sent out to try to beat every Jeopardy player?
Yes.
I met the man who spoke on that. He was at my...
Oh, very good, Mr. Phelan.
Take a seat right up with the... Thanks, John.
I want to know what he does. Yeah.
Who did the video?
Who did it?
She's digital video.
You might want to MC it, Mr. Lambert.
That was, yes, who was the Atlanta Falcon, who played financial football with the students. And this is touring some of the sites, Coca-Cola, the Olympic Park, CNN.
Anybody know how many flavors of
How many what?
Coca-Cola? How many flavors? What is the number? How many flavors?
No idea.
Remember?
That's the dinner we had with the Amars. In the finals, and actually our neighboring state of Rhode Island was the winning team. We're very proud of them. And here's Jack receiving his individual award, top team in environment. Even at the airport, waiting, and we did wait several hours for our flight home. Students studied. The stats homework and AP, economics.
These are all the sponsors of the program?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Very proud of you. Next, we'd like to invite up our debate team with Coach Nick Fitzgerald. Nancy Warren was not able to be with us tonight, and as Mr. Arenberg and Ms. Michaels listed some of the Life Smart team members who couldn't be here tonight, they might be at the music program downstairs or at another event. Mr. Fitzgerald will tell about this another success story at Milton High School, in this very room, so it's very significant.
That's right, actually right here, right? So my name's Nick Fitzgerald. This is my 4th year coaching the debate team. As Superintendent Gormley said, I coach the debate team with high school history teacher Nancy Warren, who couldn't be here tonight. Like the Life Smarts team, we had about 25 students compete in debate this year. But like all Milton High School students, those students are very involved. And unfortunately, many of them couldn't be here tonight because they're either in the auditorium performing right now or on the softball field playing, and some of them are home studying for their AP exams tomorrow. Debate is a public speaking event, so I think it would be appropriate if the debaters did most of the public speaking. So I'm going to turn it over right now to our senior, Isabel Smith, and I think she'll give you guys a rundown of where we've been and where we're at.
Hi, my name is Isabel Smith. I'm a senior. I'm one of the captains here on the team, one of 4. Connor's here is one of my other co-captains, and Coleman is a sophomore and one of our teammates. Our 2 other captains, Elsa Jeffries and Chris DeCita, weren't able to be here because Elsa is playing in the concert and Chris is running in the Bay State Conference League. As Mr. Fitz said, we're all very involved in the school activities. So this year is the 4th year of the debate team here at Milton High School, and it's been definitely our most successful year. We've had about 15 to 20 students on the team, which is more than we've ever had before, and almost all of them came to many of our tournaments. We went to 12 tournaments this year, including national tournaments at Harvard University and Yale University. And in many of those tournaments, many of our teams actually came and placed. We got a lot more trophies and medals than we have in years past. And 5 of our teams qualified for the state tournament this year, which was actually hosted here in Milton High School. It was our first tournament that we ever hosted, and it ran very well, thanks to our coaches and many parent and student volunteers that we had here. And also our teams were very successful at the state tournament. Elsa Jeffries and Chris DeCita came in second. And they competed the final round right here. Mrs. Gormley was here, she saw it. They came in 3rd, and Chris DeCita also earned a 3rd place overall individual speaker medal, and Cormac earned a 7th place individual speaking medal at the tournament, and he and I also came in 6th at the state tournament, so it was a lot of fun. And then as soon as that was over, we had preparations for the candidates forum, which Mrs. Fitter and Mr. Zulus probably remember, which was also very successful.
They
for our
wanted
second
to
year.
know if for another event you would share a couple more questions with them tonight.
We got a little sweaty when you guys entered the room. I thought, what are we going to have to do tonight?
And maybe just between us, who do you think did better?
I think the voters did.
So we didn't want to get you off track.
I think I've said everything. Cormac, do you have anything to say?
I think that she covered pretty much everything.
Do you guys have any questions about like the event or the team or anything like that?
We're so proud of you. You know, it's, as you said, a new club, 4 years old, and you've come so far with it in such a short time, and it just speaks volumes to you as individuals, to your hard work, and to the coaches that you have. Seniors, could you tell us where you're going to college next year?
I'm the only senior up here. I'm going to McGill University in Montreal.
And what are you studying?
I'm going to be studying, I'm not sure, probably English or linguistics. The other senior captain is Elsa Jeffries, and she's going to Harvard. I don't know what she's studying.
So would you share the topic of the state competition?
It was, I forgot the wording of the resolution, but it had to do with an individual healthcare mandate and whether the United States should have one.
Mrs. Padilla?
I'd just like to say I really am impressed with debate in general. I have some friends who have children doing it, and I think I talked with you a little bit about in other states, and they talk about the different styles of debate, and it's just such a more complicated process than I think most people realize. And as we had gone through the questions, Mr. Zulus and I were, extremely, impressed with how well the debate was run. It was definitely, there were other debates and they were fantastic too, but you had it run so well, and I think it was definitely a little bit more pressure on the candidates to manage their time, and it was definitely stricter. I think Mr. Fitzgerald at one point had said, nope, these are the rules, and we had to follow them. So and that was good practice for, I think, what you guys go through. I think you're probably a lot better at it than we would be. But I was really impressed with how you ran that debate, and also with, the competitions that have come along. I think you guys have just really held yourselves well for, for anyone, but especially for some young people. So congratulations and good luck next year. And I'm glad we have a couple of you still coming back so you can teach people how it's done. So great.
Mrs. Kelly?
So congratulations to all of you for your accomplishments. You mentioned that you got several trophies. I know that we have a trophy case for athletic trophies. Do we have a trophy case for trophies such as these? And I'm wondering if it might be something we want to think about.
Currently we don't. We have a filing cabinet in Mr. Fitz's room, and we kind of have all the trophies on top of there. But I mean, I guess we have enough that maybe we could use one.
We'll work on that. You know what was amazing to me, the Life Smarts team and the debate, to see Milton High School students competing against other high school students from across the state. And from what I observed, you get to know one another at the different debates. The preparation, I don't think that anyone can imagine the preparation and the oration and the skills of your presentations was just extraordinary. And Mr. Phelan just passed me a note, Isabel, when you were presenting, and it said, phenomenal, no notes, great stuff. And so those debate skills and the high sense of competition for the Life Smarts and the debate. We see students out on the athletic fields, and we talk about how wonderful that is and the correlation to success. But these academic competitions, I couldn't be prouder as your superintendent. And is our sophomore going to stay with debate for, take the mic and identify yourself?
I'm Coleman, I'm a sophomore, and yeah, I'm planning on staying in the debate for the rest of my high school 2 years.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. I'd like to ask up to join the school committee at the table our Globe Scholastic Art winners and their staff members. And again, we're in competition with athletic events and music tonight and advanced placement exams tomorrow. So we have a wonderful representative group of students here. And we have our middle school principal, Dr. Karen Spalding, our high school art teacher, Cassandra Derby, and our high school principal, James Jett. I'm going to turn it over to Cassandra, Dr. Spalding, and Mr. Jett to do the introductions of the students.
Hi.
This is very, very exciting.
Yes. Thank you for having us. I'm Miss Derby. To my left is Amanda Liberty, senior, Joshua Carey, freshman, and then middle school students.
Just hold that mic down there.
And I'm extremely excited and proud to sit next to Jillian Radley, who is honorable mention, as well as Griffin McLaughlin, and not here tonight because it is a busy time of year, is James Eder and Carmen Cushing, also honorable mention from Pierce Middle School.
So the Boston Globe Scholastic Awards is a competition all art students in Massachusetts compete in every year. Every art teacher has the opportunity to submit 20 pieces of work that they think really represent the quality of our school. And of those 20 pieces, thousands are submitted to the jurors, and they determine what they think are the best of the best. And so the artists represented here are the best of the best in art. So as Mary Gormley said, there are a lot of people not here, especially evidenced by this pile of awards I have. So I'm going to start by reading off the awards. So Honorable mentions, Katie Bomback, she's a junior. Julia Clark, a senior. Cara Genduso, she is a senior. Casey Glynn, also a senior. Julia Cohane, junior. Senior? Senior, sorry.
I think.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Joshua Carey, freshman. And Delana Morrison, senior. Hannah Musgrove, senior. Olivia Phelan, senior. And Amanda Liberty. Oh, so before I give this to Amanda, those were all the honorable mentions. We also got Silver Key Awards. So Silver Key Awards are for the top 20% of all artists. So Amanda Liberty got a Silver Key for her mixed media book that you made. Also Julia Clark got a Silver Key. Cara Genduso got a Silver Key. Madeline, and this is Cara's piece. I can show you here.
That's spectacular.
So you guys can Madeline Leshev, a junior, also got a Silver Key, and this was her piece. Johansi Liverpool, a sophomore, got a Silver Key for this piece. And all three of those are at the concert right now. Daniel Navi got a Gold Key, and Gold Keys are awarded to students of who are the top 10% of everyone, so it's a really high honor, and we're really proud of our students for achieving such a high level. So Dan Navi got a Gold Key for his photography piece, as did Charlotte O'Neill. Amanda Liberty also got a Gold Key. Delana Morrison got a Gold Key. And then the seniors were given the opportunity to submit 12 pieces of work. Is that right?
I think it was only 5.
Oh, 5 pieces of work representing their whole portfolio. And we got several awards for those portfolios. So Gold Key to Dan Navi, another Gold Key to Charlotte O'Neill. Remember, that's top 10%. Amanda Liberty got another Gold Key. Delana Morrison, Dan Nabi, and Charlotte O'Neill. So I'm looking forward to distributing these to all of them. Oh, and also behind you is the work of all of this. So this is the Boston Globe Scholastic Award right behind you. So you've been living with it for the past few months.
May I add? Is that okay? I just wanted to say out loud that absolutely the best part of my job is sitting proudly next to Pierce Middle School students as they're being recognized. And so I want to publicly thank Jillian and Griffin and Carmen and James for just making my job absolutely fabulous. So thank you for that.
I would echo that, but I also want to say 2 of the Gold Key winners, I'm very honored to have 4 pieces that are hanging in my office, one from Delana Morrison and Dan Nabi. They both contributed 2 pieces apiece that are hanging in my office, which I thought the artwork, the photography, I should say, was outstanding. One was from the South, the journey that Delana took down South. Actually took a picture of the Reverend Jesse Jackson with Martin Luther King in the background in the picture, and I thought it was outstanding. All of the students that participate in Ms. Derby's class and Ms. Hughes' class, their work is remarkable, their talent is unbelievable, and they grace the hallways, the corridors, the classrooms, the libraries. So I just want to thank Ms. Derby, Mrs. Hughes, and all of the students who are making huge contributions to the overall culture of the school, and I appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Ms. Bagley-Jones?
I know I'm preaching to the choir, but first of all, congratulations. What an honor, and how wonderful it is, and how nice it is to see your teachers here with you at night, too, and principals after a long day. That's impressive. But I guess I just would like to say, I bet that you all started really liking art at a young age, and if we had had to wait until you went to junior high or middle school or high school, I don't know if we'd be getting all these gold keys and silver keys and honorable mentions. So just want to get in my plug there for how important I think art is in our community. And I'm really impressed and proud of you all, and I hope some of you go on to keep on with your artwork on some level. That would be a really great thing to see. So, thank you.
Mr. Zulus?
I'll add my congratulations, and I'm very curious for the artists, and any of you could weigh in on this if you're comfortable. Who or what it was that inspired you to develop your talent like this at such a young age?
Probably just the teachers. They were really encouraging, and they let us follow our own path. So I did altered books this year for a lot of my artwork, and it's not a traditional form of artwork, but I was really encouraged to follow what I wanted and take a course that I decided myself.
Well, my dad was an artist, like, at a younger age, and I just remember his, like, abstract paintings everywhere, and they're hung up in a lot of places in my house, and so he's really inspirational to my artwork.
Oh, that's very nice. That's great.
My older brother was involved in, like, ACE programs in middle school, and he taught me a lot of, like, things about art that kind of got me interested in it, so, yeah, he influenced me a lot.
That's great.
That's great.
This is John. Do you want to say?
Joshua, do you want to say?
Give him.
I have to say, yeah, teachers always encourage us to go into different media and stuff.
To Ms. Bagley-Jones's question, did each of you participate in the ACE program at the elementary school?
I started in 5th grade, so yeah, I was.
I started in 5th grade also.
Me too.
Same.
Excellent.
I would just like to say, in addition to congratulations, that I was lucky enough to attend your art festival. It has to be called a festival because it was so impressive to see the field house transformed into art exhibits one after another, from kindergarten right up to high school. And I saw those award-winning. I didn't know at the time what the silver and the gold key meant, but those pieces of work stood out as really spectacular. But to see the interpretation from the youngest age right up was beautiful, and the music that was there in addition. And so I thank you, especially to the teachers, too, for all your hard work, and to the administrators for your support. So.
And I just want to go back to that ACE for a moment. It's very interesting. It makes your superintendent very proud, because it's important for the viewing public to know that in the elementary schools, and through this difficult budget year, we were able to, those were going to be eliminated, reduced, cut, and through the support of the school committee and the warrant committee and town meeting, those programs have been restored. But it makes me proud that you and the Milton Public Schools were identified at a young age, because the viewing public should know the students who participate in ACE, or the students who are in the band or strings, or the students at the elementary level who participate in the future problem solving, are identified by their teachers for having a strength, an ability, a talent, a gift in that area. So it makes me proud, and I'm going to convey to your teachers that all of you were identified. And to Ms. Bagley-Jones's point, given that extra time, you know, I think some of you probably gave up your lunch and recess for your ACE time during your 4th or 5th grade experience. And so it speaks to those feeder programs. It speaks to the talent of the teachers, and bringing out your talents at a young age, that, again, you participated, and it brought you to these statewide recognitions. We're very, very proud of you.
Congratulations. Mrs. Padera?
Yeah,
I echo everything that everybody else has said, but I just wanted to say that, thank you so much, because I don't know if you realize sometimes how much the work you have done or, continue to do gives someone who's not very artistically inclined great pleasure. I mean, I can't tell you how long I've been looking at, I think is it Julie Clark's, that image of the girl there, where I'm just like, that is unbelievable. She should have won an award for that. That's incredible. And, some of the other work up there, too. And just around the school in different places. I mean, it stops me in the hall sometimes. And stops my kids, too, who are younger and look at that. And it's great to have you and for you to be able to express yourself in that way that gives other people so much pleasure. What a great thing to have. So thank you.
We couldn't have it without talented teachers, having Cassandra Derby here representing all of the art teachers in the district. They're well represented by you. For the school committee should know, the school committee has an event that they recognize all of the volunteers in the district in June. It was Miss Bagley Jones's idea years ago. And sometimes we really send out hundreds of invitations, and it's well-attended event, and the school committee recognizes all the volunteers. And Ms. Derby, so you have an opportunity to thank her while she's here, identified the picture created, You'll Tell the Story. You tell the story better than I do.
Well, to thank the volunteers, Mary Gormley was looking for an image that would help convey that thanks. So I asked my art student, Sydney Turner, who's a sophomore, to use her artwork, which was a pair of hands kind of holding out. So we're working on photoshopping that into something that you guys can use for a thank you note. So that's in the works.
We'll give every volunteer a piece of student artwork, the helping hands.
Yeah.
So couldn't have been done without the students.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Next, we'd like to invite to the table our food service director, Jackie Morgan, for her annual presentation. Welcome, Jackie. Thank you, John. It was, she missed 2 days in March, the first time. I know, we didn't have it though. But senior may have been in it. Maybe.
Pointed to you, right?
Yes. Chairman, Chairman.
Sure.
So welcome, Jackie.
Thank you for having me. I'm Jackie Morgan. I'm Director of Food Services for kindergarten through grade 12. And here we go. So I just have some information as of the end of April 2013, so it's not the full school year. So when we're looking at the statistics, you'll understand. Right now, we just have our sales up here and our breakdown of expenses. We're at a 15% free and reduced together participation, and system-wide, our participation is 65%, which means 65% of the students who come on a daily basis are purchasing a full reimbursable lunch. Our prices increased this year from $1.75 to $2 in elementary, and our secondary, which is our middle and high, are $2.25, and at our high school, we have some upscale meals of Caesar salads and fresh-made deli sandwiches, which are $2.50. I always try to promote the point of sale system. It's called POS for our shortcut, but it's been really a very helpful part of the school nutrition program because what it's doing is giving the children enough time to eat. They're not waiting in line with cash and giving change. But it also helps protect the children that do qualify for free and reduced, that every student comes through the line, every student in middle and high has a 4-digit PIN number. No one knows if you're a paying customer, no one knows if you qualify, and it gives the students who do qualify the confidence that no one knows. So we really like to encourage the point of sale system. One of the great features we added this year was parents being able to pay online. They don't have to pay online, we still accept checks, but it's been a nice convenience. Parents are busy, they're traveling, so they've been able to go online, and you'll see the website down below at myschoolbucks.com, because I know this will be put on the website. So anytime we can share that address with students, with parents, we like to do that. But it's been a great addition this year. The company was purchased by another company, so it gave more features. When a parent puts money online, the money's on the child's account within 10 minutes. The parents can now see 90 days of transactions, which has been interesting for some parents to see where our money is going. So it's been really great, and we try to communicate about it as much as we can. We started off this year with a bang. We invited, we have a Farm to School week that we celebrate. I think we're in our 6th year of celebrating Farm to School, and Governor Patrick's office asked if he could come to Milton High School and proclaim Farm to School week. So we had student involvement, we had a great day, and he insisted on loading a produce truck with the students. So I just have different pictures because I just try to show the parents. Sometimes they don't see what we're offering, so we have lots of fruits and vegetables available. This year, I was lucky enough to be part of a pilot program. The Department of Defense is a huge purchasing agent of produce. So 12 districts were selected from the Department of Elementary Secondary Ed, and we were lucky enough to be asked to be one of them. So this year, we gave some of our commodity, our U.S. foods, our entitlement dollars towards purchasing produce. So Milton qualified for $5,700, and instead of me paying in the invoice, that just came automatically to the Milton schools as, you know, where I get my government food. So this year, $250,000 statewide was spent on this, and we've just encouraged and been successful that $1.5 million will be spent on produce for the state of Massachusetts for schools. So that's a huge, huge bonus. But it's been a great program. It allows more fruits and vegetables, more variety. And we also have our own local farmer, Tim Cook, who grows for us at the Brookwood Farms. So just some more pictures of all of the offerings that students can take. We show this so that we help parents can encourage them not to just walk by and select and take. We have many offerings every day. We have 5 daily choices at the elementary. We have anywhere from 10 to 12 daily offerings at the middle and high. Every year, we're always trying to make new changes, make things healthier. We have a new regulation this year, a new state law that changed all the a la carte options and changed the beverages in schools. We were pretty much ahead of the game with that, so just to let you know that we are in full compliance with everything. I started to apply for a lot of grants this year. A lot of grants have been coming up for breakfast programs. We're really trying to encourage students to eat breakfast at school. There's more variety at school. It encourages a child to start the day off. And this year, we applied for an $8,000 grant. We got $7,700, so we were pretty happy, from 2 different places. We got it from the Commissioner of Education in his School Breakfast Challenge, and we also got money from the Dairy Council. So what we did with this money at the high school is we purchased a breakfast cart, and the breakfast cart is now located at the field house entrance where a lot of parents drop their students off. And we have, up above, you can see a tablet was purchased with the grant, so the students can still use their PIN number, so anyone can get a breakfast. And it's a quick grab-and-go breakfast, so the students, you know, time management. And down at the trophy case selection, I heard you talking about trophy cases. So Mary Gormley and I had talked about where to put a little place for the students to eat this breakfast, and we said there's a little bit of a unused space right by the trophy case. So right now we have the new Wildcat Cafe, and this came out of the grant money with those high top tables and high top chairs. So when the student gets their breakfast at the breakfast cart, they go down to the new cool cafe and eat their breakfast every morning. So it's really helped us serve about 30 or 40 more breakfasts a day, which we're very happy, and we're hoping we have more. We've also had a huge collaboration with Whole Foods this year. 2 years ago, we got a grant from Whole Foods in Dedham to put a fruit and vegetable cart at the middle school. And when we put this together and we filled it with beautiful carrots and strawberries and celery and cucumbers, Whole Foods says, can we come out and watch the children? I said, that would be great. And they stood with me at the fruit and vegetable cart and watched a lot of the middle school children walk right by it. And they were just puzzled. And it became a beautiful relationship where our health teacher at the middle school, together with Whole Foods came in and worked with Chris Main and his class and did a lot of health education about why eating fresh fruits and vegetables is important. And then from that, they kept saying to me, we think we're just going to adopt you, Jackie. So Whole Foods in Dedham has adopted the Dedham schools and the Milton schools, and we've had 5 half-days at the Milton High this year, which was something new. And we used that time, and the 4 chefs at a time came in from Whole Foods, and many of the administrators came down and welcomed them and said hello, and I made them taste everything. But we made a lot of new food. We're introducing new products to go with our new guidelines. So we had a sweet potato and avocado and delicious salad on the bottom. We have a kale pesto with no nuts. We served that at the elementary school last week with vegetables. It's basically white beans and kale and garlic, and it went over well. So we have a huge thanks to Whole Foods, who's very committed to staying with us, and they're going to be with us next year again. So it helps us with our cooking styles, how to cut fresh fruit, how to use your knife, and just wonderful, wonderful program. And this year, to just do more of health education, to teach the children of why we're doing so much healthy food. And my college, Framingham State University now, we had 5 interns come in this year and teach nutrition education. So in the first half of the year, we had 3, and we focused our attention at the Tucker, the Glover, and the high school, and the Pierce. And then the spring semester, we did the Cunningham and the Collicott. So all of the 5th grade across the entire town, with the direction and the work with John Phelan, who met with the students and helped them develop their curriculum. They all had a nice 30-minute training. Of course, it was the focus on breakfast, trying to get more children to eat breakfast. And something that I learned is breakfast got its name from to break the fast, and trying to teach children that their body has fasted all night, and that's why they need to put fuel into their body so they can learn more. So that was something I learned this year. And we had our audit this year. I know that word is scary, but it was a good audit. This year, the department, the USDA, changed all of the rules and regulations for what needs to be served to a student. So to make a quick story, we have to serve a lot more fruits, a lot more vegetables with certain colors, certain amounts, certain this, certain amount, whole grains, only so much meat. It was huge, and a huge application process, but each time a child purchased a meal, we get 6 cents more from the USDA to help offset the cost. So they came and they spent 2 days, and they actually went through every production record. They went through every recipe. They went through every menu. They interviewed the staff. They wanted to know how much. It was intense, and we did fabulous. So we're very happy. But they are only doing this a one-time only, and they only picked 25% of all the schools in Massachusetts to audit, and we won. So I just really want to thank the school nutrition program staff. They're just an amazing group of men and women. They work so hard, and they're just so talented, and they're so positive. And when I come in and say, want to make some kale pesto white bean dip, I don't ever hear the word no. They're like, great, 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 and they taste it. They're my best taste testers. So they do a great job, and sometimes they're the little unsung hero. So I hope I sing their praises enough, and if you're ever in the kitchens, please come by. And just thanking you all for me, but I just really always want to have my phone number, my email, and the online website, because one thing I just like to say every time I have an opportunity to meet with you is that parents never know what happens to their financial situation. And the free and reduced program that's available, you can apply at any time throughout the school year. It's very private. Our point of sale system really protects the children's identity. And about 92% of the children who qualify use it every single day. So it's a great testimony that they feel safe and that they're getting a breakfast and they're getting a lunch. So if anyone can call me, I can meet with them privately, I can email them, I can mail them applications, but we have applications in the main offices, we have applications online, our front page of the website and on the food service website, and anything we can do to help, it really is a great program.
And
Any
that
questions?
website is miltonps.org. Well, that's your email
Well,
address.
they
but
can
if
email
people wanna
me,
get
and they can get it on the
application-
www.miltonps.org. On the front page is where Marion has put it, which is very helpful. Do you have any questions?
Kristen?
I actually have a comment, Jackie. I mean, I was going to ask if we could talk about health and wellness after
Yes, we
Jackie's done,
will.
just so Jackie could stay, because she's a big part of the health and
Sure.
wellness, if that's okay with everybody. Okay. But one of the things I wanted to point out is that you have been doing an incredible amount of grants. Every meeting we have, it's like, oh yeah, I applied for this grant, oh yeah, I applied for that grant. And also taking of the interns, that's extra work that you don't have to do, and yet what you do by taking those interns and supervising them is you provide us with some extra services that we don't pay for. Those nutrition classes in the elementary schools, we didn't pay for that. We didn't pay a staff salary, I mean, we paid your salary, but those interns went and did that, but that's more work on you. So I just really wanted to, having interns myself, I just really wanted to acknowledge, it's extra work, but it's really worth it to get them into our schools and to get those services.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the joy of interns is they learn so much from the food service staff. So I think sometimes that people can, like the interns do teach, but they learn so much. And I always call it a day in the life of a food service employee, and it will blow your mind. So it's really good for these, 5, 6, or 4 who I take, who I've had over the time, for them to understand what these jobs are. So when they go into this industry, whether it's in hospitals or schools or colleges or prisons, it's really nice for them. They always will call me years later and say, I remember that work, and I always remember how you treated them and they treated me, and I've learned, and they really do. They learn a lot from that 11-week rotation. We have 4 next year.
Fantastic job. You're I'm one of your biggest fans.
Thank you.
Because my children really like some of the special, like Mrs. Comer's chicken patty, little funny names you have. Egg McMilton, always a favorite. The 65%, I just wanted to point out, I don't think people know how fantastic that is. Superintendent Gormley and I and Mr. Phelan know from talking to other, candidates around other schools how we were shocked at some of the numbers people had said their lunch program participation rate was, and we were like, I think we might take you for granted sometimes, so that's fantastic. I just have a couple comments. The younger kids with a point of sale, do they type in their personal numbers too, like the very young kids?
So kindergarten through grade 5, we use a classroom roster that's up on the computerized screen that the cashier's at.
Okay.
And a great teamwork through the school principals and the teachers is the children come into the cafeteria by homeroom.
Okay.
So we only have 20 to 25 names on the screen, so they just go through and say their name, we touch their name, touch a button, touch their name, touch a button, because for me, it's really about time.
Yeah,
And to
exactly.
manage them through. So it's interesting in kindergarten when you say, what's your name, and they burst into tears and say, I don't know. So we let them just go on.
I was thinking of them remembering numbers, of like, wow, they've really got them trained.
Yeah.
So they
And the kindergarten teachers are great. They bring them through a day before and train, and the kindergarten teachers stay with the children. But we do have those moments where, what's your name? I have no idea.
That was great.
But the point of sale, we could do pin numbers at elementary, but because of the teamwork we have, the classroom roster really works wonderful.
That works. Okay, and then the other thing I was going to say is that's a great improvement with because I think that was one of the things people wanted to pay online, but then they were worried that the money wouldn't be there in time. But I mean, your system is very accessible, and no one's ever refused lunch or anything like that, so it was fine. But I think it makes people feel a little uneasy if the money's not going to be there. So the 10 minutes is a great improvement. The other thing I was just wondering, I think a lot of things have come up lately in terms of health and nutrition, is about sugar, surrounding sugar and gluten. Do you have any meals that are have you had any talk about offering gluten-free, or you've talked about monitoring that? Oh, here we go.
This is why I brought you this tonight. This is my favorite find. This is a lot of things that we look at in school nutrition, and we have a price point that we really have to deal with, but clean labels is a big buzzword right now. There's 3 ingredients in this product: corn, oil, salt. So this is a wonderful product for a gluten-free child. We do have gluten-free meals, K to 12. We have rice tortillas we offer with a deli meat product in there with a nice bag of corn tortilla chips. We also have rice check cereal. It's just gluten is really difficult on a price point of $2 and $2.25. I mean, I know a lot of the parents, but I've been pricing out things, and we really are working hard, and my staff, let me just say again, are amazing. So I'll see them making little pizzas on the tortillas, making little pizzas on the bread. A lot of the products we've purchased and we've brought in for the children, they just don't really care for them. The rice hamburger rolls, the nickname is Hockey Puck. So rice products are a little challenging. So we do try to work with the students individually, and a lot of students will just come in and say, I'll have the hot dog, no roll. The staff are great with allergies and any kind of cross-contamination, and they really do a huge job. And once again, the participation in the program is very high because children are greeted with a smile. They're welcomed into the cafeterias. We really try to work with the debt situation. The point of sale, when a parent is online, can sign up for low balance email alert, which has really helped a lot of parents because the company will email them when they get to a certain window. So if it's a $5 you want to be emailed, you want to be emailed at $10, you want to be emailed at $0, the parent decides what that number is. They don't have to pay online. They can still set up an account online and still send in a check because there is a $1.95 fee that a parent pays, the convenience fee that the company keeps. So all of this is just helping and helping. And the cost is very, very low compared to our other communities because we really work hard with our government food, and we try to use that at the best of our ability.
That's great. And then I just had one last question about the sugar. Is that something the federal government is, you said calorie counting and all, how much food you're having, green, starchy, everything. What about sugar? Do they monitor that?
So right now, they've changed a lot of the regulations. Before, a lot of schools could do nutrient standard menu planning, which would be looking at the list of things. And USDA has gone back to teach children how to eat, how they would eat at home. So they've gone really to the big My Plate. Half your plate should be fruit and vegetables. So I think they're going back to the basic. I think the pyramid got a little out of control, and people didn't know what all the stripes meant, and people climbing on it. They didn't really have it. So I think the My Plate's just gone really back to basics.
Okay.
And we do a lot of teaching in the classrooms with the interns, and we have the plates, and we put our hand up and say half of it's fruit and vegetables, and so I think that's where they're trying to go, just really encouraging more fresh produce for children. But as we all know, it's expensive to eat healthy.
Yeah.
So, and I think, a lot of our legislation that just happened, and some people aren't happy with it, but what schools can have available during the school day, and it's really taken a lot of, statewide, a lot of the sugary drinks out of schools. We didn't have them because we have a supportive administration who helped me get rid of them 12 years ago. But we have water. But, I used to walk into the lobby of a lot of schools, and I'd be greeted by Pepsi machines and Powerade machines and Gatorade machines because they made a lot of money for athletes. So it's really a nice, the law has been difficult, and it's been, financially, it's been a kind of a train wreck year for a lot of school lunch programs and a lot of fundraising. But it is pulling a lot of sugar out of the schools. The new state guidelines.
Thank you.
And we do have a little grant that's for next year that Mrs. Dinrecht wrote. But we got a $300 grant from Mass Action for Healthy Kids, and we're hoping next year in our elementary school is to have an Iron Chef competition in the fall. And Becky came up with this great idea, and I have to say her niece was a winner in what state? California. So we have videos, we've been in touch with the, you can maybe explain a little more.
Well, I think Mr. Lynch has signed up to help us with the video. But yeah, they did she sent me the video, my sister, and I thought it was a fantastic idea, but, didn't know where to go with it. And of course, approaching Mrs. Morgan, she just took off with it and immediately got another grant. And so we're going to do it and approach local chefs to help train. What they did is they used local chefs, and they worked with the kids, and they had different categories of competition, healthy meal and dessert and, fancy meal or something like that. And then they competed and showcased their work, and they had judges, and the chefs were the judges, and they did a great video. So I think it'll be, the kids will really enjoy it, and it'll kind of showcase healthy eating and how to prepare healthy meals. So I'm very excited about it.
And I've been in touch with all the principals in the elementary school to let them know that this is in the works.
Yeah.
So we'll be working on that in the fall. And I'm going to try to aim it for farm to school and produce in fall. I hope.
So every year you come and present, and it always is amazing how much you've raised the bar for all that you do for the kids. And just the education that you're providing is just so helpful. If you can see that kind of fruits and vegetables every single day, at some point, for a lot of people, that will just click. And congratulations for all your efforts on that.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that not only is your participation rate, high compared to other communities, but also the financial health of the program is, I guess, the envy of many school administrators across the state, and you're to be congratulated for that. And your continued effort to reach out via grants, et cetera, is just a testament to how much you put into the program and are just constantly improving it. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And then I think either last year or the year before, you came to us and talked about the new law and the implications of that. And so I have to tell you, at town meeting, I was so surprised that there was no club there selling something. And I guess I just wanted to know whether, is that a result of the law, the new law, or was that it just happened to be that way? It just happened to be that way, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm glad to hear that. It would have been a great venue to do some fundraising, even if it was, we had to have water or whatever. I think just on future, but I just wanted to make sure it wasn't connected necessarily with the new law.
So maybe the parents of those 3 groups of students are home right now watching, and they could sell water next town meeting for their fundraiser.
All you have to do is reach out to the town moderator and ask, just put in a request to be able to sell things, and sometimes it's the same group that does it every night. Some years it's a different group every night, so it's just so the public can know that it's easy to do.
Can I just make a comment?
Yes.
I'd like to thank Jackie Morgan, because we are the envy of the state in terms of the service that she provides to the Milton Public Schools and the community. She is one of the, if not the top person in her field, and we're very fortunate. And I know that there's a lot of professional development that happens with your staff around safety and health, and making sure that the inspections go well. But to be part of Jackie's professional development, that Whole Foods came in to work with the folks that cook the food and prepare the food for our students, it was like a cooking show. It truly was like the Food Network that day at the Milton High cafeteria, and it was also like a science class. The information and the different aspects of nutrition that the person from Whole Foods presented, and the why this happens with the food, and the best time to utilize food, and how to cut it, and how that nutrition is only enhanced by the preparation and the cooking of the food in a certain way. It was amazing. And so that kind of professional development is fantastic, and I would say that our program is head and shoulders above the rest for that very example. And I appreciate it. When we say that eating fruit and vegetables is expensive for folks at home, it's not expensive in the Milton Public Schools every day. So they are getting a great variety at a very low price and a great quality experience. And so thank you, Jackie, very much for a great program.
Thank you.
Mr. Phelan, you just stole my thunder. I was going to talk about the best price in town. I mean, if you opened your doors to citizens, I think you'd have a line out the door at $2.50 a piece for a beautiful lunch that you provide, Jackie. And
thank you.
It would be interesting to see next year if you could do a slide that just showed us your increased sales, increased participation over the past few years, because I know it's continually increasing, and that's all due to your efforts. And I just want to say finally that I'm lucky enough to be your friend, and I have some of your wonderful recipes, but wouldn't it be fun if you could find a way to share, like, a recipe of the month on the website?
We could do that.
And I'm interested in that white bean and kale.
Oh, it's excellent. And when they were asking us to make it, I'm like, well, don't you want us to cook the kale first? And she's like, no, put it in raw, put it in raw. So we're learning every day, and we can share. That's a great idea.
Great.
I just have 3 questions, and one really jumps off from what Linda Lee was saying, and that is, without putting you on the spot, Jackie, do you have a sense of the year-over-year numbers in terms of sales and participation? Are you seeing growth?
Well, we have growth in income because we raised the price of our lunches this year, but we also have growth in purchasing more fresh fruit and produce. So the change this year is, in the past, we've had to serve the children a half a cup of fruit and a half a cup of vegetable. This year, for example, grade 9 to 12, we have to serve them 1 cup of fruit every day and 1 cup of vegetable every day. And 2 cups of salad equals 1 cup of vegetable. So the amount of produce that we've had to bring in, I mean, we were bringing in a lot of produce, we're bringing in huge amounts. And the other huge change this year, which has been a difficult bite to swallow, is every child has to have a fruit or a vegetable on their tray. And what happened in September and October, USDA unfortunately didn't do a lot of training and teaching and nutrition education, and a lot of students just went right to the trash. Boom. So we had a huge amount of waste. I would say September, October, November, like fresh farm picked apples at 26 cents a piece. Right to the trash. Because it's difficult for children to be told what they have to do, and we put signs up everywhere, free fruit and vegetables with all meals, trying to make it sound like it was a big deal. So our expenses are going to be way up in food this year, different than past years with that mandatory.
And the second question I had is, do you have any, I know you haven't finished this year, but do you have a sense of any looming challenges for the next school year?
Looming, no, I don't really ever have looming challenges.
Okay. All right. Well, that's great.
I'm going to get Iron Chef competition next year. My looming challenge will probably be too many children want to participate. That's what I'm hoping my looming challenge is.
Okay.
So we're hoping to have 8 teams of 4 in elementary, 2 from each elementary school. So
Great, great.
it's always fun. We make it fun.
And then I guess the third one is just if there's any way to get an espresso at this, right here at this time of night. I guess you can't help with that, right? No.
Well, no, can't have coffee in the National School Lunch Program.
Ms. Padera and Ms. Kelly and John Phelan referred to when we were interviewing for the Assistant Superintendent for Business, we interviewed individuals who talked about their deficit and having to use the general fund dollars to fund the school lunch program. And we don't have that situation here in the Milton Public Schools. And I discussed it with one candidate, and that candidate said, well, you have Jackie Morgan. And so a tremendous amount of credit goes to you as the food service director. You make it a part of the school day that everyone can hear and see your knowledge, your leadership across the state, your participation at the national level is benefiting Milton Public School students. And to Mrs. Kelly's point, to see the fruit and vegetables, it's sort of like the art at the 5th grade. And to have those school lunches and available, and I really appreciate how you reach out and try to communicate and make lunch available to those children of families that might qualify for free and reduced. Your efforts on that front are tireless, and I really appreciate it. You just don't send out a form in September, you stay with it. And when I see you and heard Mrs. Kelly, I think back to the school building project when the deliberations were one kitchen and used trucks to send food to the other schools. And these citizens should be very, very proud of the state-of-the-art kitchens that we have in each of our school buildings, which I always say to Jackie, enable our food service people to produce those lunches and now the breakfast program. And Jackie also should be recognized when we talked about the volunteer, and we'll be bringing our retirees in. Jackie Morgan and her food service people cater those events, and they do so. Sometimes people think that an outside caterer has come in for the event. So every time, and the school committee has benefited during meetings, I want you to know how much we appreciate you.
Thank you.
And your contribution to the Milton Public Schools.
Thank you. And thank you. And our great food service team, they really, at all 6 schools, just do an amazing job. Thank you.
Please say thank you to them for us as well.
I promise.
And thank you for our snacks that you bring to us every year.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thanks, Jackie. So we can move into health and wellness now while Jackie's here.
Jackie's been a valuable member of the team, so I figured since she was here, we should stay. She should stay. We should stay, yes. So you have minutes in your packets, but they actually haven't been approved by the Health and Wellness Committee yet. We'll approve them on June 7th, but it gives you a guideline of what we've been talking about, and you don't approve them anyway, but we have not formally approved them yet. But I do just want to mention who's on the committee. Mary Gormley, of course, John Phelan comes, Karen Spalding, Margaret Gibbons, Vicki McCarthy is our community member, James Jett, Jackie Morgan, Scott Devlin, Rich Garino, and Becky Padera. And we often have visitors that come as well, other staff members come as well, but that's
Yeah.
the core.
We usually have.
Oh, and Steve Traster.
Steve Tracy, we usually have our Milton Hospital rep, who hasn't been in the last few.
Yeah, he hasn't been, Jason hasn't been able to be there, but we do have Milton Hospital.
And a student.
And a student comes as well. Emily Driscoll, who is a senior, comes and is part of the Health and Wellness Committee. She's great. So a couple of things just to highlight, and Becky and Jackie and Mary, feel free to jump in. May is Children's Mental Health Month. May 9th was Children's Mental Health Awareness Day. And for school committees, I know it sounds like a long time away, but by 2017, all public schools are going to have policies in place around mental health. Another unfunded mandate, but a really important mandate. So I just want to throw that in there to people be thinking about. It's in a couple years, but it's just going to be another thing that we need to get done, and it is so important that we get that done. A big part of what we've been working on is a collaboration on a project between Milton High School and Pierce. A lot of times the committee has talked over the last few years about the need for more mentors, for more student leaders, for more, just help between student to student. And so Michelle Cruiser went and applied for a grant, another person applying for grants, with the Junior Women's Club, and got it to do an initial meeting between grade 8 students, 30 to 40 peer leaders, student leaders from Milton High School, go down to Pierce for one day and work with them around healthy choices as they make their way up to high school. We're applying for due Friday at noon, and I have a draft done, finish it tomorrow night, and Becky's going to look at it, and so is Mary, to the Milton Hospital to continue and expand that program, because one-shot deals are not really as helpful as we'd like them to be to kids. So we hope to see our student leaders continue to do more and more of that one-on-one and small group discussion and problem solving with the incoming freshmen, because it's a tough year. So hopefully we'll get that money from Milton Hospital. They've been very good to us in the past. The other thing was, Steve wasn't there the last time, but we have been talking a lot about the Great Body Shop, which is a free, we got the curriculum donated, but it's a health and education curriculum. I know Boston Public Schools uses it. It's a wonderful curriculum. We've been trying to get into place, and I believe by September of this coming year, we will have it in place in at least some of our elementary schools. I'm looking at Mr. Phelan, because he's been helping get that to happen. Another thing that the teachers will have to do, but we know health prevention has to start earlier than middle school and high school. And then the grants, I don't know why, but when I wrote up the minutes, I thought, wow, people on this committee are writing an awful lot of grants. Maybe we should rename it. The grant I just talked about, Becky wrote a great Heart Association grant, which we hope we hear in June that it's positive, but just the fact that she wrote it is pretty wonderful. With Todd Ducharme, who's no longer can be on our committee, unfortunately, because of his job changes. You wrote the Healthy Breakfast Cafe. Vicki is checking on some other grant opportunities, and also Becky has been looking into the climbing corps, not corporation, right? Is that right, Becky? What's it called?
Climb Corps isn't a grant. You can win money in addition, but it's a program. But I was just checking for Ms. Cruiser for additional grants for the peer counselors. I think the money they're using is to train the peer counselors to talk to the 8th graders.
Yes,
So they're paying the trainer to train her. So she's just looking for a little bit more money. So we've looked into some insurance companies that fund those kind of things.
Right.
It's a little tricky because you have to then write it a certain way for what they're looking for.
Right.
So I'm just, looking into those kind of things. Right. Nothing really hopeful yet.
Right.
But then the Climb Corps, there's additional money available there. It might not be used for the for peer counselors. It might be more exercise related, but it's still money that we could use for things.
Right, and there's a student-led health and wellness week in March, so that might be something that we try to help with and some of that. So a lot of grant stuff. We also talked a lot about spring activities and the importance of parental and student knowledge around substance abuse issues and prevention with all the parties going on. And so we haven't done as much on that this year, but Mr. Jett Mary, help me on this. Mr. Jett sent out a great letter just reminding people about the social host law, which is, since we're talking about this and say it on TV, if you have kids at your house and they're drinking, whether you know it or not, and Mike, you're the lawyer here, help me with this, you're responsible if something happens, even if you didn't know they were drinking, or even if you weren't home, correct? And they were drinking, or do you have to be home?
You can be responsible, as I understand.
Okay, so, just reminding parents about the social host law that, we are responsible if kids are drinking in our home. And he also has worked with us around parents, students attending the prom have to complete the online tutorial about this substance abuse or drinking around the prom and the graduations. And there's also going to be a staged car accident, which we used to do, but then we'd stopped doing, and he decided he would pick it up again, so he did send a letter home about that, which was a great thing. The other area, unless any of the other committee members have anything.
I think that is tomorrow, am I right? That stage car accidents tomorrow, an insurance company's coming in.
Yeah, so,
After school.
we'll see how that goes. We are trying to work on some publicity. I'm supposed to give Mary something for the health and wellness, on the health and wellness for the next email blast. Rich Garino developed, problem solving in our committee, resources for families, and that's going to go on the website as well. Just a variety of resources, not just around substance abuse, but anything that any of us can think of that might be helpful, that parents might, or kids might want to look up anonymously how to get some help around some of these issues. And I think that was it. Was there anything else? Ms. Bagley-Jones
Relay
says-
for Life, is that what you're going to talk
The
about?
Relay for Life.
Isn't that this weekend?
Saturday.
Is it Saturday or, okay, I was
Saturday.
corrected with the date. So that was another student, not on our committee, but just another student who organized that.
National Honor Society.
Yes.
So Ms. Bagley-Jones has put this wellness pre-K through 12 on the forefront. We meet if anybody in the viewing public wants to join next year, 8 o'clock on one Friday morning a month. And anyone's issue becomes our issue. Yes. And we have a running agenda. And I think the value of this particular committee, as I say, these school committees, subcommittees are making a difference in the Milton Public Schools. I could even see Mike Zulis, who has served on the Milton High School Site Council, shaking his head. He knows about these initiatives. That, again, it's put wellness on the forefront. It's integrating across the curriculum, so it's not just the phys ed health department. And we're finding out the value to central office. Elementary people are hearing what's happening at the middle and high school people are hearing what's happening district-wide. So to Ms. Bagley-Jones, your leadership has been invaluable. Becky Padera is an outstanding addition to the committee, and we would welcome more parents who, if they had an interest or an expertise, they wanted to bring once a month. Again, some people think when they sign on to one of these committees, the work in between the meetings, but, again, it's a very valuable resource.
And Jackie, do you have anything you want? Thank you, Mary. Do you have
No,
anything?
I think the town of Milton's very lucky to have this committee and have it be so effective. It's interesting, I think, when the health and wellness mandate came years ago through the Federal Child Nutrition Program, unfunded, I think most towns just were like, oh, you gotta be kidding me, another committee. But Milton just jumped right in. I mean, your leadership, Kristen, was great, but I just think the wide variety of people who are on the committee, health and wellness, I think sometimes gets stuck on food and fitness. And it's really the whole child, it's the complete person. And John, to your credit, Mr. Phelan, you jumped right on for professional development and the health and wellness of the staff. And some of the professional development was like yoga and different strategies for the staff, the teachers, the instructional aides. So it's a whole package for the employees and the students at the Milton schools benefit from. It's really great. We're very lucky.
Thank you so much, Jackie. Thank you for
Thanks
the
for
work
staying.
that this committee's doing, and thanks for
Great committee. Thank you.
Sorry, Ms.
Oh,
Gormley.
no. I want, to close my report, we had the 2013-14 calendar voted, and the next day, one of our staff members identified an error that we had not included 2 school days in March. So this will change the impact is changing the end of school. So the last day of school, pending no school days. Oh, Acadia, could you stay for 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Great. Acadia's, so the last day of school next year is going to be the 17th. And I would ask the school committee to revote that calendar. We'll put the edited calendar up on the web. And I have to tell you, we get lots of calls about the calendar, fortunate people making their vacation plans. And so if you could vote that calendar, that would be valuable. Keeping in mind, every snow day, and because we go back to school before Labor Day, we were very fortunate this year with so many snow days, so many districts had to go during vacation or add time every day or talk about a Saturday. Again, we get out on the 17th, but we have the rest of that week and the entire next week and one more day that third week, if in fact we have snow days.
So you're talking about next year's. I just want to make
Right.
sure that
Next year,
we're not talking about this year's.
2014.
Right.
So if
Okay,
you
so
would vote
I'll
that calendar.
entertain a motion to approve this new revised calendar.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Bagley Jones and seconded by Mrs. Kelly. Any further discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you.
And I'll briefly, a few happenings.
Can I just-
Sure.
Just remind us when the last day of school is this year.
The last day of school, Mr. Phelan.
The last day of school is Monday, June 24th.
Thank you. Thank you. Very briefly, when we have a grant from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education to fund our full-day kindergarten program, and that grant is at risk. I actually sent you an email today. So representing the school committee, Leroy Walker, Glenn Pavlicek, John Phelan, Ada Rosemarin, and I met with a Glover parent, now a Pierce parent, who was on the Board of Education, Dr. Vanessa Calderon-Rosado. And we lobbied Dr. Calderon-Rosado to lobby at the state level, telling our story of how important that grant is, along with the tuition, the implementation of full-day kindergarten in the Milton Public Schools, and what a difference it's made. Dr. Calderon-Rosado went to the Commissioner of Education and asked him to come to Milton Public Schools to see the full-day kindergarten. The communication from the Commissioner's office, he wanted to see Glover School. Dr. Calderon-Rosado's son went to the Glover School, and Milton High School. He didn't want to see every program, he wanted to see 2 programs highlighted. So as I wrote to the school committee and telling the public, where could you go in Massachusetts to see at grades kindergarten and first grade across town, a co-taught special education program in kindergarten and first grade, a STEM program in first grade, French immersion in first grade, and a full-day kindergarten program. And at the high school, we selected our fine arts programs, as evidenced by the Art Tonight, and our advanced placement programs. So the commissioner came last Friday. We had receptions at both schools. We set up focus groups. Mr. Phelan and I did not attend the focus groups. This was very prescripted. The commissioner goes out to districts, and they definitely know how to maximize his time in a district. Dr. Calderon-Rosado and the commissioner, John and myself with the high school principal, and then with the Glover principal, toured the school, and then they had the focus groups. And I have to tell you, it was a very positive visit. I want to thank the parents, the teachers, the school committee members. Tom Hurley and Anne-Marie Fagan represented the town, and I have to tell you, it was very moving. We wanted to give the commissioner something to remember the town by. So, John, this is a true story, right?
It's a true story.
So
I was there.
we were in the full-day kindergarten at the Glover, and we hoped every year at the Glover, there are 2 ducks, right? That return every year to the courtyard. And they have, these ducks have their babies in the courtyard. And then the Glover, it's been on Channel 5, 4, and 7. Then the school is very quiet. They go outside and they watch the two ducks, bring the babies out to the pond. So this is an event at the Glover. It goes 24/7 over the weekends, preparing for this event. So we hoped it would happen so the commissioner could be part of it, but it didn't happen that day. But we told him about it. So he then told the full-day kindergarten class about the ducklings in town and in the city of Boston. And very apropos, we have our language arts coordinator, her aunt designed and built the bronze ducklings on the garden and the common. And so she had a card signed by her aunt and dedicated a book to the commissioner. And so he began his career as a first grade teacher. So I have to tell you that we gave him the book, and those 22 kindergartners, you couldn't find the man in the middle of the kindergartners as he opened the book. And
the book is Make Way for Ducklings.
Make Way for Ducklings. And the children I thought they were going to leave with him, or he was going to stay. And he started his career as a first grade teacher. And I have to tell you, I have feedback that he was very impressed. And well, he should be impressed with the Milton Public Schools. But I have to speak to the commissioner going out to schools, his insights, his questioning of students and teachers and parents. I knew what he was asking, I knew what he was getting to, were very insightful, and so I want to publicly thank him and thank all the individuals who participated. It was a very special morning for the Milton Public Schools, and to have the Commissioner of Education here was wonderful. A quick update, you know that we've hired our Tucker principal, Dr. Elaine McNeil-Germain. And the Glover search, I shared with the public and the school committee that we did not identify a candidate that we would send to the second level in the first round of interviews. So we've reposted, and that posting ends next week. You will be represented again by Ms. Padera, and we have parents and teachers on the committee, and we will begin a second round. For those parents and citizens watching, in my career in the Milton Public Schools, some of the strongest candidates have come through a second round of interviews. I know somebody's sitting there saying, where were they in the first round, whether they were involved in other searches, whether they move into the community, but we're looking optimistically towards that. And I have received from two individuals connected to the Milton Public Schools who have left the Milton Public Schools, calls from individuals out of state. So we're looking towards that second round of search. We had the same experience looking in our search for the Assistant Superintendent of Business, and so we've reposted that position, and we will reform our search committee and again look for that position. I was tonight, I should have recognized Paul Arenberg. You will have a chance to recognize Paul. He's retiring. I should have recognized him tonight, but you'll recognize him at your school committee event. And our Ken Aubert, the head of our guidance department, is retiring. And so we have a search underway for a new director, department head of guidance in the Milton Public Schools. The next event, I was at my niece's graduation from Michigan State, and very ably, Mr. Phelan and the MFE and several of the school committee members took over the Milton Foundation Teacher of the Year announcement, so Mr. Phelan is going to share that exciting morning with you. And school committee members might want to chime in on that, too.
Sure. Becky was present and Mike was present. We appreciate everybody making themselves available. The foundation provides us with a few incredible dates and events each year. Obviously, the celebration dinner that we have that raises so much money and gives 600 or 700 folks a chance to get together. But on behalf of the staff, the most exciting night and exciting day for the Milton Public School faculty is being recognized as Teacher of the Year. The group got together here at the high school and recognized Dan Jabo at Milton High, a math teacher who was overwhelmed with, I think, the fact that he was being recognized at such a high level. His students were great. They were in the middle of a quiz or a test, I believe, so that was great for them. I think we guaranteed them 10 extra points if they were good sports. I hope that helped all of their averages. We also recognized Tom Shaw at the high school as the recipient of the Dr. Mary Grassa O'Neill Award in Teacher Leadership. One of the best sites was the Pierce School, where we recognized 2 wellness teachers who have taught together for years and years, Colleen Quealy and John O'Leary. They create a space and environment around health and education, physical education at Pierce that is truly admirable. It is a love that they provide this knowledge and insight to our young people. They do an unbelievable job, so I appreciate the foundation and the parents recognizing a non-traditional teacher, and I think they did a great job. Helene Olkin at the Cunningham School, grade 2 French teacher, had her former students in grade 5 come down and meet with her. She was brought to tears in her classroom. She was very, very proud, as she should, and the whole school was abuzz at the Cunningham School. Zena Hamada at the Collicott, equally the young child, when we ask, has anybody ever been a part of this and know what's going on today, one second grader had her hand right up and she said, "This is the Teacher of the Year day," and she knew exactly what was happening. So she knew she was getting a little treat. She knew her teacher was very good and being recognized, and there was nothing fooling her that day. We also wanted to recognize Mary Duggan at the Tucker School, and at the Glover School, Sarah Willis, who was a co-taught teacher at the 5th grade at Glover, has done an incredible job at the Glover School each year, and is so well deserved of this award. Was taken aback as well, and the kids were so excited to see her recognized. So thank you to the Foundation for Education. They do amazing things for the Milton Public School students and staff, and that was a great day for Milton Public Schools. We invite you to attend the evening where each of these recipients will make their presentations or speeches, and that will be May 22nd here at the high school at 6 p.m. in the lobby of Milton High School and in the Charlie Winchester Auditorium. So that was a great day.
Any school committee comments on?
I'll just say that it was just, I mean, the teachers were just speechless. It was really, they were just so honored, and it was really great for us to just stare at them with cake and balloons and hand them off to them, and and just watch their reactions. They were really speechless, and the kids that they were with were so proud. They just, they were really proud. It was a very nice moment, I think.
I was particularly struck by the enthusiasm of the students, and I choose to believe that it was because of their support and their pride in the teachers, and not because of the cake and the other treats that came along with it. But it was the enthusiasm that the children had is really what struck me.
When John ever told me the story about the Collicott, the hand shooting, do you know why we're here? I know exactly why you are here.
And I would like to just echo the invitation to attend on May 22nd. It's a really special night when these teachers receive the awards, Mr. Phelan, as you said, and I think, students present and past are invited to come with their families to celebrate the commitment and the dedication that these teachers have given for years, so.
Moving quickly along, Mr. Phelan and Jonathan Redden, Cunningham principal, is heading up our summer enrichment program this year. They have the brochures out. Interest is high. John and Jonathan are taking lots of calls. Remember, we adjusted this, John can speak to this, we adjusted the fee and all of our fee increases, but then reduced it where it's a 4-day program. And a few parents have called. John Phelan has done an excellent job explaining that to parents. A very exciting feature this year is that our extended year services in the area of special education, many of those services are going to be provided right here at the site of the enrichment program. So students are mixing both programs. Families are signing up for both programs. The Title I program for the viewing public, the Tucker School, is our only Title I school. And when we provided those summer services at the Tucker, enrollment was really increased. So we've moved back the Title I program to the Glover School. So we're going to have a mini satellite at the Tucker School. So we reported to you all last summer. I think that we hit the number 1,000 last year, 1,000 Milton Public School students going to school in the summer. So I will tell you that School hasn't ended, but the next lap, everyone is planning for. Also, Pierce School wanted me to remind parents, welcome to middle school camp. If you go online to the Pierce School, the registration for that camp, either the week of June 25th or the week of August 19th for incoming Pierce students, that is a huge, successful program that, again, is going to run. Tonight, I think tomorrow night is the music awards night dinner will be tomorrow night. Tucker is having their school fair on the 18th, and we have a very special internet safety night. I've referred to these nights as they could change a family's life with the information that these experts give parents on how to protect your children with this cyber world. And so Milton Public School staff have set up, circle your calendar and go to the web, the night of May 20th, right here in the Milton High School auditorium. We have 2 experts coming to address safety with your children. Kindergarten screening, if you if you have a child who will be entering kindergarten, Mr. Zulus is smiling. He should do this. He should do this part of the happenings for me. Kindergarten screening appointments, interest and anticipation, and by your smile, Mr. Zulus, is really high, and it's very reflective for us to be dealing with seniors, right, Acadia, and at the same time welcoming in a new 300 students and families who are very, very excited. May 28th is the Milton High School Senior Awards Night. All of you are invited to that event. You're on the stage that Tuesday, May 28th. And then we'll give you all these dates. Wednesday, May 29th, you'll be out every night that week, is the Booster Banquet right in our own Copeland Field House. The 31st is, that Friday night is the prom, and that same weekend, if you have a free night, May 30th, 31st, and on Saturday afternoon, Pierce Players. Hello, Dolly. If you're free any one of those nights, and your friends and relatives, you will not be disappointed. The legendary Pierce Players are putting on Hello, Dolly, and it will be phenomenal. And leading up to June 2nd, graduation, where all school committee members will be in attendance, and our own Arcadia Ryder will be graduating. And one note before I turn it over to Chairman Sheridan. Credit goes to Mr. Walker, Dr. Spalding, Mr. Phelan, and Steve Trasta. They heard Milton Public School parents, PS parents, wanting some intramurals. And they used existing funds, they worked together, and they were only able to put in, they wanted to do every sport, but they implemented this year a basketball program and a track program where Pierce students competed against students at middle schools in our league and in the area. So John Phelan and I had the honor of going to Brooks Field yesterday, and we witnessed 130 Pierce Middle School students involved in a track meet. The javelin, the races, our own Maura Downs, who is your secretary, and our communication specialist, she is with her sister, and they're one of the coaches. And she wanted me to report tonight that we played Sharon yesterday, Pierce Middle School, and in the boys, the total points, Milton 43, Sharon 38. Big round of applause. Girls, Milton 61, Sharon 21. Wow. So there are two more meets that are away, right, Ms. Downs? Another meet that I'll make you aware of that's in Milton, and I heard that Ms. Downs is looking to bring students to compete at the state level because we have so much talent. And I have to tell you, Mr. Phelan and Dr. Spalding and I reflected, you could not believe the parents in attendance at this track meet. And they took up all of Brooks Field, and I have to tell you, selfishly, I said, I am so proud that our middle school students are having the experience that other middle school students are having across the state with this level of competition at this age. It was very, very exciting. So to those people who made it happen, and Mr. Phelan just reminded me, Mr. Phelan, will you add that?
This came with great cooperation and support from the high school track team. So Dale Schneider was fantastic with supporting the middle school program, and he and his counterpart, Mr. Ajamian, who's the boys track coach, and high school students supported and ran the whole track meet, which is a lot of different events with a lot of students and a lot of meets and a lot of heats. And they did it in a way that was seamless. And so thank you to the Milton High School staff and the Milton High School athletes. They did a great job.
Right, they were all in there pitching in. That would have been a lot of staff to have to hire. Excellent.
Thank you, Ms. Gormley. I'm going to move down here to begin my chairman's report.
She doesn't know.
Because tonight is Acadia's last night. Acadia Ryder, thank you for staying, has been our school committee rep this year. Bravely, all by herself, came to all of our meetings. Your attendance was, you were such a faithful participant, and we really appreciate your being here, the voice that you lend. And we know our meetings sometimes go long, and they're not always the most exciting, but you came back every week, and we really appreciate your participation. So could you just tell everyone where you're going to college next year?
I'm going to American University in Washington, D.C.
Congratulations.
I'm going to be studying international relations and foreign policy.
And you had your
Impressive.
beginnings right here at the Milton
That's
School.
right. So you learned all about policy right here. So this is just a little token of our appreciation for you and your service to the Milton School Committee this year, and we wish you all the best next year.
Thank you, Acadia.
She probably
Thank you, Ms.
has
Sheridan.
finals to get home and study for. I have a few items under my chairman's report. All school committee members received an email about subcommittee sign-up, and you have a hard copy at your seat tonight. If you could just, Mr. Walker isn't here this morning, this evening, but his items are signed up. So is there anyone else that would like to add their name to any subcommittees?
Yeah, I had thought I had emailed Charlene back, so I did later today. but
Right.
On the wellness.
I got that, yep,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay.
Yep. And Mike, you're all done, thank you. Mrs. Kelly, did you have your subcommittees you want to sign up for? So while you're looking, I'll just name the subcommittees so that people at home know that a lot of work goes on in between our meetings. So we have a finance subcommittee, a policy subcommittee, a legislative subcommittee, school building subcommittee, which is, we're representatives and our term will run out. Mr. Pavlicek's still on it. I'm on that for the rest of the year, and hopefully that committee will be going away soon. A wellness subcommittee, a negotiations team, two different negotiation teams, a consolidated facilities liaison, and that one I'm not so sure about that that's going to continue, how long that will continue. I don't know if that was just established to bridge the gap as the new consolidated facilities came up, but thank you, Mike, for stepping up to work on that. Capital Planning Subcommittee, Milton Foundation for Education representative, Facilities Subcommittee, and Payroll, and an MPEG representative.
So I apologize. I thought we had received a version of this that had our present membership on it, which we probably did, and therefore I didn't look at it again in the packet. So I would gladly go back on the Finance Subcommittee. And so just to be clear, Mr. Walker isn't here. He has emailed you back and said he wants to be on these committees, which would mean that he doesn't want to be on the Policy Subcommittee?
I don't know if he replied to the subcommittees. I know that those were standing committees that, like the capital planning, that's a town-wide committee that he's our representative to. I don't think he, and the AFSCME, he had just sent an email, so I don't know that he doesn't want to be on those other ones. He's not signed up for policy either.
So one that I would be interested in, if it doesn't have too many people on it, would be the Policy Subcommittee, but it would have to be meeting in the evening. There's no way that I could do it during the day. So that, I think, is open. And then the Legislative Subcommittee, quite frankly, we very rarely use it. I think we used it once when we were trying to get after some financing, but other than that, we really haven't used it. So we might even remove it from
Look
the
to
list.
disband that
Yes.
one. Okay, great, thank you. And just in terms of this, I was speaking with Charlene today, and we do get a lot of emails being on school committee, and sometimes there are some that are very timely and need a response in, less than 24 hours. So both Charlene and myself, when we send out emails that need a timely response, the subject matter is just going to say, reply ASAP. And then you'll know that that's something that we really need to hear from you back. Mrs. Kelly?
So there are some days that I don't even get to my regular email because I'm so stuck in my work email. So I guess I would request as a member that if there's an urgent matter that needs a response, that we actually use phone.
Okay.
Because that I will definitely pick up on, where email, truly, I may not get to my emails for days sometimes. So if we could utilize that, if there's an urgent matter that needs a direct response, that would be great.
That's great. But for everyone else, does the reply ASAP work? Okay, great, thank you. I also want to welcome Mike Zulis and Becky Padera back, Mike to his first official meeting, aside from our reorganization meeting, but we're thrilled to have you both sitting around the table with us, and you're already making huge contributions to the school committee, so we're thankful for your participation. I'd also like to talk about something new that we're going to try with the school committee. You probably see us week after week from home looking through packets and piles of paper, and we're going to try and go electronic. So within the next month, we're going to try and shift to using Google Docs to share all of our monthly or our school committee meeting data, information packets, and it will all go online. So school committee members, we do have a retreat scheduled for June 19th, and that's my plan is to do a training for that. But if any of you have laptops and are interested in starting sooner, we'll do a trial run on Wednesday, June 5th. I'll be using that, and anyone else that wants to can just let me know.
Can I just follow up on that? So computers are available for pickup. I mean, some of this, I think, is pretty self-explanatory, so we maybe don't need to go through. I mean, it would be great to have training in addition to, but if we could come pick up a computer, that would be great as well. And
Let's call that as of Friday.
Right. Actually, we were saying, maybe not Friday, maybe next week, so we'll let you know when they're available. Charlene wants to try out all the, the different variables that come with logging this on and
We'll let
work
you know,
with
I
Bud.
guess, when they're
Yeah,
available.
that'd be great.
That's the plan.
Thank you.
Sure. And just finally, I'd like to say, I'm not speaking about Milton's 350th anymore here at your meetings, but there is something else new that's happening that I'm involved with, and I just want to share with the public. And it's a new organization in town called We Are Milton, and we are going to yearly celebrate Milton, because all of the goodwill that came around with the 350th, people have, spoken to us and talked about trying to find ways that we could continue this good effort and this good strong sense of community. So on Friday night, June 7th, at Hutchinson Field, right on Adams Street, looking out over beautiful Hutchinson Field and out over Boston, we will have a spectacular evening of music and fireworks. It's going to be called Milton Music Festival and Fireworks. It will begin at 6 p.m. and culminate with fireworks sometime between 9:30, 9:15, 9:30, we don't know, around dusk time. So we're encouraging folks. There'll be satellite parking. There is a website, wearemilton.org, and rain date is Saturday, June 8th. But we encourage you to plan to come to Hutchinson Field that night. We know they'll be visible from other places in town, but really take advantage of seeing the fireworks right there on Hutchinson Field. There'll be a giant stage with music performing all night. Parking, as I said, will be in satellite spots, and more details will be coming available. So, and this is all due in thanks to the generosity of the Copeland Family Foundation and their generosity, so thanks. Okay, that's it for the chairman's report. Finance Subcommittee, Mrs. Kelly?
Thank you. First of all, a big thank you to the warrant committee and the town meeting for the appropriation that they gave the Milton Public Schools for next year. Certainly, a lot of effort went into that to increase our funding over the original thought process around that, and obviously, all the school children next year will benefit from that because it really decreases the amount of cuts that we will have to make. We probably will have to make some, but they will be limited. So in terms of the budget, what we typically do is once new hires and are completed right at the beginning of the fall, we realign the budget to our 7 categories with a salary line and expense line for each, and we would vote at that point sort of what our guidelines are for the remainder of the year in terms of expenditures. So we probably won't vote again on the budget until the fall, till after that has settled out. The one thing I did want to bring up is we have been talking about a strategic plan, and I'm trying to identify resources for that. And I think just as a committee, thinking about timing around that and coordinating it is something that we need to take into consideration because that is a time commitment. And as I think we've experienced throughout this year, time flies. And if you don't plan to sort of carve out some time to devote to this, what we believe is a really important process, another year will pass by with us not engaging in that. So we look forward to hearing more about that in the future.
May I? Ms. Kelly and Mr. Walker have been talking to us about that in Finance Subcommittee. Mr. Zulus also has spoken up about the need for a strategic plan. So we have created a perspective. Our interim Assistant Superintendent for Business, Ed Karsagian, worked just today with statewide organizations regarding where our request for proposals should be posted, editing our request for proposals. So we're going to send that out to our Finance Subcommittee. I'll send it out to the full committee. And our target is at Tuesday morning's meeting to go over the edits. We've been working with Ms. Kelly and Mr. Walker, who have taken the lead in this, get the proposals out and find out what the different companies want to propose with the amount of money we have to spend. On the superintendent's listserv, we've already received about 8 different packets, but now we're tailoring it down to the Milton Public Schools. So we'll include Mr. Zulus, who expressed an interest in that strategic planning process. That would be invaluable.
Ms. Gormley, I'd request that you send it out to all the school committee members.
Great.
We're all interested in that.
Great.
Thank you. Anything else, Mrs. Kelly? Great, thank you. We've already had a health and wellness. Are there any old business items? And next meeting agenda items. Our next meeting isn't until June 5th, and it begins with a retiree reception from 6 to 7 p.m. right here in the library, and our meeting will start at 7. Does anyone have any other agenda items other than those that are already posted? Okay. And,
Sorry, can I just ask, so, and I apologize for not knowing this, but were there any subjects sort of under review this year that we might anticipate hearing reports on? You know, whether it's math or, you know how yearly we sort of
Great question.
review?
We have 3 system-wide committees that Mr. Phelan and administrators are chairing: the Proficiency Gap, Technology Committee, and a Science Committee. And so at that meeting on the 5th, you've gone through all of the reports, consolidated facilities, all of your individual school site programs. So our plan was to have all 3 of those report out to you on that night.
and we also have an ELL presentation that evening as well. English language learners.
So we're going to try to respect your time and get the information out to you prior so that you can have your questions ready. But I appreciate you asking. Mr. Phelan's working hard to get those presentations ready for you.
Thank you.
If I might say something, we talked about graduation coming, And before we close, to the viewing public, that this is a very, very exciting season. Kindergarten is coming, and the start of all of these senior activities. But to those parents and guardians in the viewing audience, the safety of these children, to Ms. Bagley-Jones's point, is paramount. And so I ask every parent and guardian during these coming days and weeks to closely monitor the activities of their children. Our high school principal, James Jett, is speaking to the seniors and all of the students, and just to remember to be here to enjoy, and the safety of our children is paramount, and our high school seniors. This is a pivotal time this next month and weeks in their lives. And so we want them to enjoy and have memories, but we want them to use good judgment. And so we have to work with the parents, and Ms. Bagley-Jones referred to Dr. Knight, who is a partner with the Milton Public Schools, a Milton Public School parent. That video is out for parents and students to watch together to understand the impact of bad behaviors, and it's really about making the right choices. So as excited as we are with all these activities, we want every one of our students and their families with their support to make the right choices.
Ms. Gormley, we're so fortunate that you care so deeply about every single one of our children, and safety
Along
is
with all of you.
always first. Thank you. Okay, we have no one here for citizen speak, so at this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session for the purpose of collective bargaining with MEA and AFS-CME, not to return to public session, but to adjourn directly from executive session. Moved by Mrs. Padera.
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Kelly. This is a roll call vote. Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Mrs. Padera?
Yes.
Mr. Zulus? Thank you. It's unanimous. Good evening. Thank you.